I remember that.
Mark.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
And welcome to everyone else to today's Sunday My Hero Academia manga stream, where we're going to be reading chapter 300. Oh shit. 300.
Ooh,
This is My Hero Academia.
this is My Hero Academia.
Impossible. It's react. Dang it.
Still a legendary moment.
You tell me you've created a miracle? Okay, hold on. But as I get myself situated here, I'm gonna actually need to move the manga stuff like over here. But actually, quick question, Mark. It's just us today doing the coverage on chapter 300.
Correct.
And I have it set up so it's the Discord call, so it's like myself and you. But since you don't use the camera, should I just go ahead and switch it over to the face cam?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Since we don't have like a custom background for this yet, we really should. I'll add it to the other list of things I should do.
I mean, I'm sure if you ask Christoph, he can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking that a really cool thing would be to I'm not sure, because like there's a whole issue of like, what if we're using the contents there, but like without any kind of creative take on it?
Idea.
Yeah, it needs to be something like kind of custom made in a way, but I don't know how to do that other than maybe an idea of just kind of showing off a very simplistic form of people's quirks and stuff like that, and just have that around the borders. But
I would love if what we have for it is literally just Izuku being face deep into his book, muttering and writing.
Ooh, that's, yeah, like if we could do something like that, where
That'd be perfect for a manga read.
Yeah, that actually is. Ooh, maybe like to make it simplistic, maybe make like a chibi version of like Deku somehow, and then he's surrounded by like falling, like, what are they called, compo books, like his notebooks.
So you just
Alternative would be like a solar system S type of like encompassing him of books. Too bad his quirk isn't knowledge. That's another girl's quirk.
Knowledge.
That's also not a good alternative. Anyway, so you know how it is, guys. Before we jump into the current chapter, we have a certain thing that we do for each one. Was that, Mark?
Recap episode.
Anyway, the last chapter. Oh shit! I realized that I need the keyboard. Actually, can I just? Can I just? No, I actually need the keyboard. No, okay, give me a second, guys. But yeah, the last chapter, as I try to talk further away from the mic, was an origin chapter for Hawks of all characters.
It's a good one.
It almost felt like it came out of nowhere, but then when they kind of went back to the present time, it was showing that him and Best Genius were going to a certain locale. To be revealed later, but it coincided with what was happening in the flashback. We got to see Hawks, his pops, his ma. He did not have the best childhood.
Oh hell no, he had a terrible childhood.
His family had to seek refuge in this abandoned shack. Doesn't hardly looks like a house.
Yeah, his dad. I see. I'm still wondering which one is the real translation, because it's easy to get it confused the way they worded it. It's because in the fan one that I read, which usually, I mean, it's honestly been more right than it has been wrong, at least in terms of the official translation. Changing it to the same thing, but like it was it said that he was a hitman for hire, like you hire him to kill people. But in the other one, is he killed a guy over pocket change, which means you could kill for money. So it could be either or.
Yeah, it's weird because I look at this dude. He's not really wearing anything like extreme. He just looks like you're like run the mill like person who's just out there just trying to steal, like just to make a living.
Although the way they did his hair just gives you villain vibes.
Now, Mark, we can't go and stereotype people here because we have animal people.
It's not even his hairstyle. I'm just saying the way that his hair is drawn, it just says bad guy.
It is a strange hairstyle. I think it's like the overall look, like the way he has, like, especially the eyes are drawn. But
Yeah,
then again, I only
just,
got like the one clean shot of him.
it feels like they wanted to make him look like a bad guy.
Yeah, and I think that's usually the case for most like villain designs. They kind it's the whole like Hydra scene in Endgame where it's like, look at them, they look like bad guys.
They do.
Their shield, oh well, they're later known as Hydra, but yeah, we saw them as Shield. I mean, look at them, they look like bad guys. But yeah, it's weird. Also, the mom has like an interesting quirk. I think we kind of settled with the idea that it's just like an extension, kind of like
a monitoring quirk of some sort.
Yeah, I feel like it's. Oh no, it reminds me of Gara's sand eyes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, have no idea of how Hawks really got his like feathers, but we had the idea of that because he's able to monitor a lot of things because of his eyeball, because the eyeballs from his mom probably is like a hybrid stuff.
I'm assuming his father has something like his father's hair kind of did remind me of the way his wings look.
Ooh, oh, you got a point there. But yeah, so we found that in addition to like the horrid like setup of his family's past is the fact that the reason he got into like Endeavor was because he had arrested his dad who was doing all this crummy stuff, but also because it was more affordable to buy that plushie.
So fucked. How you gonna do that?
I mean,
you gonna do that to him, man?
No. It's obviously like it's a lot more than just the plushie. Obviously, I keep going back to this panel where last time it kind of shows Endeavor plushie kind of being animated, and like actually, what was Hawks's original name? Was it Kago?
Yeah, Kago.
Yeah, Kago. And how like he's so shocked Kago, to see that.
Yeah, Kago Takami.
Yeah, his entire life he even monologues this, that he's been suppressing like his own emotions because he kind of already knows the situation, that if he just like stays in line with his dad, then everything will kind of just work out. But with Endeavor kind of jumping in, arresting him, it totally shifts his like his perspective.
He was finally free to live his life, like, you know, he didn't have to hide anymore, he didn't have to, you know, like not be emotionless, like he could actually be a normal kid.
And shout outs to the mom too, because like after that fact, she reached out to a couple people who granted they seemed kind of shady, like as far as like the mean locations, how they were dressed, but apparently they had helped her and Kago at this time to pretty much get rid of their past almost entirely and start anew. Which
I think they were with the government.
Probably, right? But going back into like present time, we have Hawks, who's in this temporary uniform of just recovering, but also kind of casual, where he needs to breathe a little bit. He's riding with Best Genius in his Genius Mobile.
His Genius Mobile. Dude, it was straight up something from freaking fucking what's it called? That freaking show. I'm trying to think of, is it Nightwalk? It's not Night Ranger. What is it called?
The Bat Cleo.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, though.
I think so.
It's like that. It's like that show that David Hasselhoff used to be on.
I don't think I've really seen any like works that involved like David Hasselhoff except for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, I wasn't too like into it, but it was funny to see that scene. But I will say, well, the Genius Mobile kind of looks like the Batman's Tumblr.
Kind of, but honestly, what it reminded me more of was that I had the name of the series, but I forget it right now.
Oh damn!
Let me look it up real quick.
Okay. Meanwhile, we see Hawks. He's typing at like crazy fast, like words per second, with just one thumb. Best Genius intercepts a couple villains who are on the highway. He does fiber on, and it turns out his Genius Mobile is
Knight
decked out
Rider.
with fiber and threads. As he fixes his hair, everyone's like, "Oh, thanks for saving us." Meanwhile, not everyone's like that, and it shows this really cool shot of gotta shout out to the panel here, where it shows a fair amount of people admiring like Best Genius versus others who are specifically detailed with dots to show disinterest in him generally. Also, shows like the reality of like how people are taking up self-defense during these
They're literally
times.
taking up arms.
Yeah, so we got like some like guy who is I forget the word, but he has something really secured on his like arm to
Yeah, it looked like he had a gauntlet on,
yeah.
like a support item
Mm-hmm.
that would either help increase his quirk or make him able to, you know, fight people
Yeah,
with quirks without having one.
yeah. Without too much detail on that, I guess that would be like some kind of like additional quirk enhancement, without the medical stuff involved. And then we go over to find out that they actually went over to Hawks' mom's residence.
We
Don't
found
know
out
often.
how Dobby was able to do all he did.
Yeah. Hawks gets the letter, "Dear Kago, sorry, a bunch of baddies like came over here and they were interrogating me. Fortunately, I had to give some information about our past. I'm so sorry. I have to leave, but I want to let you know that I'm so proud of everything you've done. Watch out for yourself." And yeah, it's really unfortunate because we don't get to see that type of like interaction. But
and not only that, like, I mean, dude, she didn't even want to. Like, she felt terrible about it. She said she's not gonna get in his way anymore. And I was like, that's not what it was.
yeah, it was forced upon you. And like look at what like how far she has gone since then. Like
She seems like a nice lady now.
yeah. Nice residence, and but it's obviously been kind of cleared out at this point. But it was from here that Hawks has a plan to I guess in a sense just start. I guess I mean what was it? He was saying starting with my origin, so to speak. Endeavor's in trouble, so it's time. There's a lot for me to clean up. So I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you already read the next chapter, Mark, but because like honestly, for what I wanted to see was more about the students at this time, because obviously a lot of the character development kind of lies there. Not to say that Hawks isn't currently like going through development now, but I anticipated wanting to see more of the students and how they're going to respond to the continual development of like everyone being hospitalized, what they want to do, especially with Midnight being something that weighs heavy on them right now.
Oh, this is a Kristoff chapter, bro.
Oh, it's a Kristoff chapter. Damn, Kristoff, you chose the worst
I know, I was
time
like, you chose a
off.
horrible one to not be on.
It's okay, Kristoff. If you're in the chat right now, you can feel free to jump in whenever you want to, as far as discussions. But we're gonna jump into chapter 300 right now, which is gonna be a new one for me specifically. So I'll go ahead and just well, hold on. Let me just see if I have like, oh, here's my water. I'm gonna just have some water ready because I'm gonna do a fair bit of reading. Not as much though, but still.
You want to start it off? Or you want me to start it off?
I'll go ahead and start it off.
Okay.
All right. So we have an overarching like panel of like the city, villains who are being silhouetted, and the Nomu. But it starts off with this. Urban areas descending into panic. This is chapter 300, by the way. Society has barely begun to process the destruction of 2 days prior, and the small army of vicious escaped villains only exacerbated this unprecedented crisis. The existence of Nomu, me, was the final nail in the coffin. Very cheeky, Horikoshi. It's like, yes, you. But yeah, Mark, if you want to go and do the next page here.
As Hawks had explained to Endeavor, rumors of Nomu sightings had been spreading nationwide, and for a time, people weren't sure what to believe, as we see with this one of Endeavor and Hawks at their lunch they had a while ago.
Yeah.
We see here the concept of uncanny, not quite human entities had been gnawing away at society's collective consciousness ever since the first attack on UA, and as the rumors grew more pervasive, so too did people's anxieties and fears. We see this one glass here, solid full of liquid.
Mm.
That frustration had built up over time until the leaves burst, and we see the cup just break.
Yeah. Oh shit! I just took a look at the next panel. Hold on, let me just double check here on Le Twitch side. Just make sure everything is running just fine. Nice, everything is okay. Let me just close off this tab. Don't need that. All right, next page. Looks like we're in the middle of a heist or raid / robbery type of situation. First panel is them breaking in. As this Bakugo looking character comes in and says, "Grab the cash, the food too." This person's name, he's an escapee. His name is Cider House.
So, I mean, it looks like his court does have something to do with cider.
Yeah. See volume 22. So I'm looking at the notes here. Get a job, loser, and beat these guys easily. Right, I remember that. Which is funny because Baku actually had an encounter there. We get to walk around in broad daylight. Seems like the fate's taking easy on us.
Not on my watch.
As I guess an employee or employer like hops in. Granted, this is pretty smooth. Like
he fucking dashes in. He's like, He
says, "Civilians fighting back, huh? And a support item. What we're seeing here is kind of what looks like that gauntlet that we saw last chapter. Maybe something different, but it creates this like, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It looks like just a kind of
it looks like a shield.
A shield or some kind of bashing weapon. Could be either, or it could be both actually. But in any case, we jump into the next page. Mark?
We're gonna stand up and protect our city. We see this man is essentially it's essentially a militia of people in the city going against these villains.
We built this city.
We built this city. We're gonna eat your ass. We built this city. Reports of attack in Shinjuku. It's the Cider House gang, fresh out of Xi'an prison. Get to the scene. Wash!
Wash!
As we see our man Wash, he's running to the scene on a mission. The seeds were already sown. With their faith in heroes shaken, people decided to take matters of self-defense into their own hands, using tools and weapons readily available on the market. And we see that thing of Redestro, like when they mentioned the seed, because he mentioned that before, the seed had already been sown.
Yeah. So here we are. We got this big panel with Wash kind of overlooking all this destruction. People like kind of like indistinguishable from just like the baddies to maybe like
one guy is folded like a lawn chair.
Yeah. But what they're saying is
Clark. Look, he
he
got him. There's Cider House knocked the fuck out over there.
He is actually. But these were civilians untrained in counter-villain ops, suddenly engaging in armed combat. The battles were rarely contained, and 10 incurred excessive damage and casualties. Wash. In just 2 days, these incidents were already a common occurrence nationwide. That's scary. What the fuck?
Just 2 days, this is common. Too little, too late. As you just see Wash get bonked by a freaking frying pan.
Oh, that's mess, dude.
And you see the civilians over here, like they're helping each other up, and they're really mad because Wash showed up late. We were just waiting it out inside since we couldn't leave, but we got caught in the crossfire anyway. Well, Wash, where were you? And as you can see, like they're just really upset, asking him this, looking at him, yelling at him. Wash is very like he's sweaty, just like what do we expect?
It's like, what do I say?
And then he lets out his bubbles, clean bubbler, and says, "Let's disinfect those wounds and get you to the hospital." The ranks of heroes began to thin. Wash.
Wash. Oh boy. Let me just go and read this. In the light, and this is someone talking, in the light of the recent destruction, I see no option but to fall on my own sword and resign. Even heroes, a fair renown and talent, including an older one, who had plenty of saving from his days as a young hero, but had to continue to serve regardless. Oh Jesus. Okay, I'm good. Yes, Yori Musha, the
Yori
number 9
Musha.
hero, announced his abrupt retirement. Falling on your sword? Fancy way you're saying you're quitting your job? All I ever wanted was love and respect. You're just dodging the real responsibility. If you quit, what's gonna happen now? You old coward! I was a fan of yours. Damn it! As he's being booed off as he just announced, putting his helmet like on stands.
This next page.
Oh shit! Here we go. Next page. Oh. Oh shit!
Next page is probably one of the most crucial things. Like, I never thought I would see in My Hero. It is a statue of All Might, and it says, "I am not here."
That's whack. Oh shit!
That just shows you how far society has fallen. But above that, we see that one hero that was saying he might need a new line of work. Right, 2 days. 2 days. This was the trigger that convinced numerous heroes to abandon their careers. Many had eagerly signed up for the cause when a peaceful society was the baseline assumption. But now, for better or for worse, the meaning of the word hero was being put to the test.
That's actually a really good page, and just like good representation of words to kind of describe exactly what the heroes that we expect had also expected from themselves and the actuality. But we get a familiar face on the next page. For better or for worse, those heroes were being put through a sieve. I actually don't know that word actually. But we have these panels of, well, initially I guess like it's weird because I see the entire page, so it's like, oh, but of course they're showing like bits and pieces first. So it's Stain. He did break out willingly.
He seems wet.
He seems wet. He says yes, as he found himself just a rundown sword.
I think that it's his sword. I think he went to his old place and he just unsheathed his sword. He's like, yeah.
Damn, it looks nasty though. Look at that.
Yeah, remember Stain's swords always look like that. Look, disgusting.
Really? Maybe that was the anime. The anime kind of made them look clean.
Maybe.
He's like, yes. Oh man, that's all we get to see. So, good God. Now, it didn't work out exactly how we like hypothesized him going about things, but now he's an absolute wild card right now. And
I feel like he might end up doing more good than harm.
I hope so, because he's hella dangerous.
Oh, Stain is incredibly dangerous. And I guess I'll read the next 2 pages because this one's pretty short.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
We see an angry mob in front of the hospital. We see Endeavor and his doctor. People were placing that responsibility on the shoulders of one man in particular, poor Endeavor. And we see him talking to his doctor here. Your son and the others are mostly out of the woods, and even you somehow managed to pull through, Endeavor. I'm rooting for you. He's in a daze. I'm breathing, but my head's still in a fog. Anesthesia hasn't worn off yet. Still, I'm alive.
Oh god damn, we get I guess
that
like
close up.
Yeah, images of like Endeavor's like going through. So this is exactly we were saying this is definitely a Kristoff chapter where it really is everything we get to see as far as like Endeavor's reflection on things, where we just get these like shots that Endeavor's like imagining in his head, but we see it. Let's tango, a dance with your son here in hell. Let's see. I was trying to see like is Endeavor actually looking at like his phone right now? It's like he must have known.
I think it was the thing to make his bed go up.
Oh, I see it. Okay, he must have known I survived this because he knows exactly what sort of man I am. I froze in place. Worry about the rest later. For the second time, a son of mine was in mortal danger, and I found myself paralyzed. Sure, Best Genius managed to disprove one part of the speech, but he couldn't erase the greater truth. But alas, I was a failed creation. It didn't take long for him to reject me. I was tossed aside and forgotten. Endeavor doesn't have an empathetic bone in his body. At his core, he's addicted to the limelight man, who wallows in his own small-mindedness and self-importance. It was all true. I was just reaping everything I sowed.
As we see a flashback of Toya pulling out
his hair, yeah.
Where like you can see he looks younger, and he doesn't have his scars yet. So this is back with his white hair.
Mm-hmm.
So this must have been when he was very upset.
Yeah. I might get to live on, but Endeavor died back there. My son's a mass murderer, yet I can't fight him.
It's so sad.
That's sad. Like, for those of you who had thought differently about him, he does care. He does. But there's also a bunch of other stuff here too.
Comedy on the next page we see Shoto. He's got that face. You see dit. Endeavor looks over. He sees the door open. It slams. He's crying. Shoto!
even as he's in the middle of anesthesia, he recognizes his son.
The next page, we see Fuyumi and Natsu and Shoto coming to see Endeavor. Dad, good you're up. And now we're all here together. Are you all okay? He asks. Natsu looking at him, crying over what, huh? Endeavor in tears. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize until now. These regrets, this guilt, it's too late to matter. My heart, it's... And then we move to the next page.
Oh, shit. As we see, of course, it's Mom. Wait, hold on. Let's see.
Ray.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'll finish the last two here. Where it's like, yes, what about your heart? Says the mom who had like a pretty obvious, but it was a silhouetted appearance in a couple chapters back. We got the entire Todoroki family all in one hospital room. Chapter 300 dubbed The Hellish Todoroki Family Part 2. Those regrets and guilt. The rest of us have borne that burden much more than you have.
Why does Endeavor look like he aged 5,000 years all of a sudden?
He's just in shock. Like he wasn't expecting Ma to be there.
His skin don't look too good right now.
Yeah. Ray, why are you here? I'm here to talk about our family and about our son, Toya. Next chapter, February 14th. Valentine's Day is gonna hit you different this time.
Bruh.
No, seriously, he really will.
Oh, absolutely.
Literally that week. So we're now focusing on the Todoroki family. I'm looking forward to it.
I wonder if Ray is gonna be in it seems like she's gonna be in defense of Endeavor.
I think she's always kind of been, since like she got like more lines for herself.
Yeah, like she's been quick to she's been asking them to forgive their father.
Yeah, that's true. I think even Natsu, even now, has still shows signs of like, what are you doing? Like he still kind of detests him for everything. And yes, and that's true, and that's not going to change anything anytime soon. But
I hope to see, because like I remember Endeavor in his heart to heart with Natsu said, "You don't have to forgive me. I don't expect you to, but I hope you can at least see that I'm making an effort."
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they can have some type of relationship.
Me too. Because I mean, Natsu's at this point I feel like Natsu's the one who isn't ready to like move forward with anything. He's just as involved with like this like weird family complex of how they were raised and how they were valued at the time. Sure, Endeavor did care about like his kids, but when the whole thing with Toya and then with Todoroki being born, it did complicate things, and
it was Shoto.
It did shift things. Yeah,
Shoto definitely, because with Shoto he really hoped Toya would be able to fulfill everything. But when Shoto but he couldn't, and then Shoto was born, he kind of neglected Toya, and Toya felt jealous.
Yeah. And I guess that's like that was the panel that we saw of him just earlier, of him ripping his hair a little bit and just like looking oh so desperate to get like father's attention.
It's understandable. It's understandable, like why he got sad. But I don't think it was ever Endeavor's intention to just throw him to the side. I don't like Endeavor clearly showed massive guilt ever since it happened.
Right. Although it's weird too because it's kind of skewered with like things that I guess it was from like Todoroki's point of view when we first like learned about Endeavor, where it was him trying to train and he was being extremely like kind of ruthless with Todoroki.
Like a dick.
Yeah. So it's like what's all this? And then later on he's kind of built himself, and that bit kind of got buried underneath things. And of course what happened, and we just get more reveals of more of the past and how complicated it ended up being to the present day. So now we look at things here, and I mean obviously it's been a long road for Endeavor, from that chapter where he was talking with Hawks and had to fight for his life against like the high end, to even now is just like he hasn't really caught a break since then. Well actually maybe a little bit of like repeating when he was training our three main characters up until the whole Natsu almost got kidnapped scenario. But yeah, he's still like working at it. And for the whole Natsu and Endeavor dynamic, I hope that at the very least Natsu will then follow like halfway as far as just being open-minded about like his father changing at this point.
Yeah, like I feel like that's honestly what he's gonna need to accept, is that while yes, I understand how upset he is, like what he experienced growing up wasn't good. It wasn't, and it's not really an excuse for it. But I do think he should see that his father is trying to be a better person, and that he can only really he can get there even faster with his support.
Yeah. And I think honestly that's what we're going to expect in the next chapter, where it is going to be about like everything that happened with Toya, unearthing Endeavor's values for him, up until that point where Shoto was born, and how that kind of shifted things. And it feels like it's almost kind of like a broken record where like we're still talking about like the values of each child, but that's still very important, especially now that Rei's here to just have her words about this. She was for a good majority of like the whole Todoroki like history anthology, if you will, of us seeing bits and pieces here and there. She had like the less to say up until like the family started visiting her, and she had like a couple lines about how like Endeavor's starting to change a little bit. She herself had to change too. I feel like she is going to play the pivotal role in connecting the family back together, which is going to be really shocking considering like what's already been done to the family dynamic. So, well, first and foremost, I'm just happy to have them all together, and I hope that when they do come together, they come up with like some kind of unified like ideal or like goal that they could all kind of focus on, as far as just reestablishing the family dynamic. And then that also in lieu calls for what can they do with Toya at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is there any? We don't even know if there's any saving Toya at this point.
Any salvation for their son, whose like mind was absolutely warped. Todoroki can vouch for it. Like at that point, it's like, what are you doing? So are you trying to kill me? Like, well, yes, I am.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then
what was your first clue?
I like, for me, like I definitely want to see like everyone's thoughts on Toya, like everyone's thoughts. Endeavor absolutely shocked because obviously he didn't expect his son to just be there. He thought
alive.
he was dead. Same with Ray, I'm sure.
And same with Natsu.
Natsu will be a very interesting one too because of the fact that like
It was the
Toya at
biggest
the
thing he
time
held against
leaned,
him.
yeah, he leaned toward, despite being the older brother, relied on Natsu for like emotional support at times. Um, but also just like Todoroki and how he feels. He's had like a few encounters with Toya at this time, but had no idea. But then that's the same with Endeavor. But I also kind of want them to talk about like, okay, this is our son, but he's not in a good place right now. We have to stop him. I don't know what that entails, but we have to find a way to stop him. And what would be the means of doing that? How would they counteract him because of his like supercharged flames?
There's only one who can do it.
I feel it'd be Ray or Todoroki or sorry, Shoto.
It's Shoto.
Yeah,
Shoto is the only one he's the only one who's ever able to pass Endeavor besides Toya.
that's fair. But I feel
Because
like
eventually, here's the thing: in a drawn out fight, I mean, in a drawn out fight, as long as Todoroki can last, Toya's gonna burn himself out eventually.
that's fair. But I don't know if they want that for him. He's like, I mean, obviously you see the last panel of like Toya. He's already ooh, and honestly, I'm kind of seeing it from both sides. I don't think they want him to just like, oh, let's cut him out for good. It's like, no, we gotta do something, but we don't want to push him to that like point. Like, I don't know, because I'm hoping that it's a happy ending for everyone, but it may not even be that case either. But like looking at the family, I want to think that they value Toya back then, and therefore they would try to save him now.
There's like to save Toya. I feel like it would take the entire family, and maybe even then, it might not even be enough at this point.
Yeah, because you're right. Because Endeavor can't like beat Toya as far as the flames. Todoroki also can't do the same thing either, because
Not,
we saw that
at
what
least not
happened.
right now.
I guess that's true. But then again, everyone like both Toya and Shoto have access to flash fire. So
yeah, but here's the thing: I mean, Toya's had a lot longer to practice.
this is fair. This is true. But then again, I guess Todoroki. Oh, God damn it! Shoto has like flash ice. I guess if you would like to call it that.
Yeah, but it's like in terms of fire. I mean, like he's not used to using fire. He's also not used to using both at the same time.
Do you know the dynamic or the relationship with Toya and Mother Ray here?
I don't know. We haven't really seen much on those two. Hopefully, we'll see that next chapter.
Because I wonder if like obviously Endeavor kind of is the one that like is at the epicenter of like the entire Todoroki family. So like everyone kind of knows like the viewers already know what like the dynamic is and how everyone feels about Endeavor, but what about like each other? Like obviously like Natsu cares about all the siblings, about mom, is a little sus about still towards Endeavor. Endeavor still like equally like values all of them at this point. But what about Toya to like his own mom?
I mean, you saw how he was to his brother.
To be fair, but then again, that was later down the line, right? So
I mean, think about this: the man had loved Natsu. Would crawl to Natsu all the time to cry and talk to him.
mm-hmm.
And just to get back at Endeavor, he's willing to kill him now.
That's fair, but we never got to see the dynamic. Like obviously, like Toya always wanted to please like Endeavor when he was like a kid, and was cast aside. Like, what was the time between then and now, aside from the stick to Natsu? Like, did Ray at this point have anything? Because we kind of know Ray's like ideals here. She didn't really care for like how many kids specifically, because she would ultimately like, love all of them. So aside from, until like she started to get a little pushed and had crossed like a very like well, like a line that she shouldn't have crossed, with Shoto specifically.
Well, that was an accident.
Yeah, but yeah, she was already like, she was an emotional wreck at that point. So
Yeah, that
much
wasn't
so,
intentional.
yeah. But as far as I know, everyone else in the family was probably really on good terms with like mom at this point. So that probably would include Toya. So I just want to know, like, if, let's say hypothetically on the battlefield, ideal like situation, it's everyone like in Todoroki versus Toya, and the goal is to have just Toya stop doing everything. And it takes, and I'm wondering
Stop it.
like if
Get some help.
if it takes Ray to just kind of like psych him out, just even for a little bit, to even like reconsider everything.
Snap her son back into it.
Yeah, because, well, because like part of like Toya was to please dad, sure, but then there's this whole like family dynamic, and if he were to see the family together like this, I mean, all it, the results would probably be like polar opposite. Whether like it'd be like he finally
I'm
stops
fucking
and
pissed.
yeah, he's fucking pissed that like it takes them until now to come together, and he's not like part of that right now. Or
Could have been.
I mean, yeah, like either he wants to be part of it or he's not, and he most likely isn't. So I also wonder like if Ray's strong enough to do anything. I mean, granted, she's in the hospital. She's been in the hospital, so she doesn't have
True,
any
we don't know
quirk
how strong
training
she is
right
with
now.
her ice quirk.
Because she, well, I mean, at this point, like only like Totoro, oh damn it, Shoto is the only one who has like ice like on him. No one else does in the family except for Ray herself. So I wonder if like her output would be that much more.
Well, like as far as we know, as far as we know, that Toya and Shoto can use fire. Shoto can use ice.
Yes.
I assume Natsu and his sister can also use ice.
Or have some kind of resistance. I don't actually know because they never really showed their quirks. Because I'm looking at I look at it based on like their hairstyles too. But then again, Toya is an exception. It's just like,
Yeah, Toya's hair changed.
yeah, it was all red and then it turned white. So it's like, oh, it's like that. But everyone's majority is like white hair, except for like sister over here, where she has like little bits here and there, and I don't even know if she uses flames. Maybe it's just more of a heat resistance type of thing.
Well, with my thing with Dobby's hair, I mean, because I just think it happened to me as I got older, except in reverse to what happened to him.
Fair,
I
yeah.
had snow white blonde hair when I was young,
Well,
and as I got older, my hair got darker.
no, wait, isn't it the reverse though? Because like, because it started off like he was his hair was like super red or dark, and then it started turning white.
I'm just saying, like, it happened to me, but in the opposite way. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
like hair and eye color is determined by your genes,
Mm-hmm.
genetics. And here's the thing: some genes can turn on and off as you age,
It's fair.
which means yes, your hair color can change over time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could have been something in terms of that. Like maybe the genes just to make him more resistant, kind of just wore off over time.
That's fair. But he still retains like the flame quirk, just whatever is there. I guess for the most part, like he had a little bit of time to just have like this crazy fire quirk, and then he started burning himself. That's when this like DNA started to change a little bit. So
Yep. That's when his hair started turning a little white.
So I don't know. I guess, yeah, I guess it's just really unfortunate like how that ended up. There was no resistance towards it. So I don't know what else to add with that. It's just that I really hope that in the next chapter we get everyone's side of everything and see if they come to an ultimate decision before eventually Endeavor's gonna have to go up to that crowd and just say his piece. I
I
don't
fucked
know if
up.
that's gonna happen or if that's the right decision.
They go over
So
there and say, I fucked up.
walks out of the hospital. He's still like under anesthesia. He's like, I fucked up.
I fucked up.
He's like wobbling a
I'm
little bit back and forth.
so sorry.
I am so sorry. The Todoroki family's gonna clean up this mess. Vote for me.
I'm sure that if he I think the family is gonna play a role in saving Endeavor's reputation.
Yes.
Like, I think that they're gonna come together, possibly, and save Endeavor's face in terms of save face, and because I think they know right now Endeavor's needed more than ever in the Hero Society right now.
Yeah. And also, I want to shout out to Endeavor. Despite like how he is now, he understands that though Best Genius was able to prove that not all of that was true, a lot of everything else was. So
Everybody's still gonna believe it.
yeah. Did want to shout out a couple other pages here in the manga chapter. Stain is one of them. He went back to, I guess, his old residence. He pulled out a sword. He's gonna go ape shit. We don't know exactly for the better or for worse.
If there's not many heroes left, what's he gonna do?
That's fair. It's just chaos. So I guess you could say he'll be trying to cut down a lot of villains per se at that point. Or no, wait, maybe not. I actually don't know about that.
I mean, he's not very discriminatory when it comes to villains or heroes.
Yeah, but he will kill, which kind of goes against everything. So
he killed that Nomu that tried to get Deku with no hesitation.
Yeah, I mean, because Stain's whole ideal was the fact that like y'all aren't real heroes, so what is he gonna do about the civilians who are trying to protect themselves?
And of course, Vigilantes goes into earlier Stain.
Ooh, so if that's the case, then we might see Vigilantes pop into play here.
Ooh, it's ending soon too, so I could see that. Ooh.
Yeah, I haven't read too much of it, but I do know that that is a pivotal thing as far as like the build
I'm at,
up.
chapter 30.
Oh yeah, nice. So, whatchamacallit it? So we might see a rise of vigilantes in addition to Stain just kind of throwing in a little bit of his own chaos into the fray.
Let's go Crawler and Knuckle Duster.
Ooh, I have no idea where they're going to be at that point. It is like a prequel to this, so a lot of times change. So who knows? Also, shout out to literally the page right before Stain's appearance, where it talks about this was a trigger that convinced numerous heroes to abandon their careers. Many eagerly had signed up for the cause for when a peaceful society was the baseline of assumption. But now, for better or for worse, the meaning of hero is being put to the test. Where just the wording of that makes so much sense and best describes the scenario for heroes right now, where I didn't think it would be like this. I honestly thought it was going to be a 9 to 5. I'm just patrolling and there'll be some shit, but I'll take care of it.
Might be some guys here and there. Nothing I can't handle. An entire war.
And then the shot of All Might that's really strong. And I had a feeling that something like that would end up happening where they deface All Might. Any idea of like heroism would be something that everyone sees now as a threat or fake. So the I'm not hero sign.
They didn't help them at that point. Well, how the fuck are they supposed to help when there's a giant fucking unstoppable monster destroying 20 cities?
For some reason, I don't think that was their focus, despite that actually needing to be the focus. They're now
it's like, do they not realize? It's like I wish they like, I know for effects for the story, but it's like I feel like there would be people like in our world saying, "Bro, do you not see this monster of a tank that just charged with these 20 cities? How do you expect the heroes to stop that motherfucker?"
And that's rough too, because I think the priorities are like really twisted right now, because obviously, I think it's how they showed it in this chapter, where it's literally one hero going in and not being there on time to like do any like offensive like countermeasures against villain attacks, but this is going straight to the urban level. That's what they're kind of focusing on, because it's the immediate thing that's happening versus, oh, we have this big gigantic monster to deal with, but he's gone. But in the meantime, we have all this stuff happening right now, so that becomes the priority for a lot of like
And
the
I
civilians.
wonder, I wonder if it's also supposed to be a reference to that thing you call the police. They'll be there usually. The average police response time is like 15 minutes,
Mm,
and it's like that's where the self defense argument does hold value. Is if you need help immediately, you do not have time to wait for the police if your life is in imminent danger.
right. But it's kind of weird in this society because of the fact that there are heroes, there are like emergency licensing, and there are people like amongst the crowd that have quirks and aren't involved in any of the pro hero stuff,
And they're not allowed to use
and
their
they're not allowed to
quirks.
use it. So it's like, oh, um I mean, obviously weapons are also another thing. Like they obviously have guns, so they kind of
Yeah,
need to
but like,
have gun laws as well, like
but
included in
it's
here.
also Japan where it's hard to get one.
If we follow that like logic, yeah, is is rough. So they got all these support items. God knows where they found that. We don't know if there's like a weapon shop like that, but or if that's even allowed.
Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack as far as like, is that even legal to hold that or to carry that? But I mean, it ain't a gun, but it's also a weapon regardless. But then again, so is that frying pan that Wash took.
Yep, that was a weapon. That was assault. It's like when it comes to that, I think that because the thing before there were heroes, there were vigilantes.
Yeah.
Like before they made the actual hero system, vigilantes arose to help deal with people that were being bad with their quirks. Like good guys with quirks stopping bad guys with quirks.
And that makes sense, right? Because and then the logical like progression of that is like, well, these guys are cool when they're needed, but these guys can't really be accounted for because they kind of do things on their own terms, whether it be good or like ends up being a bad thing. So we need to keep them accountable. So that's why they had the whole hero society type of thing.
Yeah, because that's why they were vigilant. That's why only some vigilantes were able to become heroes. Not all of them were able to become heroes.
Yeah, and now we're at a point in the timeline where vigilantes vigilantes aren't accepted whatsoever, and they're hypothetically there shouldn't be any exceptions to that. So
Yeah, they're sitting there. Even if you're doing it for a good purpose, you're still going to be viewed as a villain,
yeah,
which sucks.
it really does suck because like vigilante stuff or activity is kind of within a gray area if you are doing good.
It's a morally gray area. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise everyone would just be like going around like Spider-Man, um who pretty much like in comparison is like,
He's pretty much a vigilante.
yeah, like that is like square one vigilante. And if everyone was like Spider-Man, the society would build up to pretty much what we're seeing My Hero.
Yeah. I mean, another vigilante, which is more extreme, would be the Punisher.
Oh yeah, the Punisher.
Like he is a grade A example of a more gruesome vigilante.
Mm. And not to
Like,
go too far of a tangent, but shouts to Marvel's like the cinematic universe for just having the Sokovian like Accords to kind
right?
of like push that like idea like along of like this would be how people deal with like superpowered like individuals.
Like the Punisher. I understand what you mean by that, but like that was pretty good. But the Punisher, he has a code. He doesn't hurt innocent people. He doesn't hurt good people. He hurts. This thing. He's the Punisher. He goes to
Mm.
these bad people and he punishes them. He's usually mafia, cartel, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's what Frank Castle does. But it's like you know, even he knows, like, he would love to be like Captain America and not have to do that, but he knows that it's too late for that. This is pretty much what he's become. Like,
Mm.
it's just his way of dishing out justice.
Yeah, it's rough for like those heroes specifically, or vigilantes, anti-heroes, no matter how you like actually perceive them.
Yeah, like Wolverine. Wolverine's an anti-hero.
Yeah,
And he's arguably a good guy.
yeah.
It's just the
So
fact of his, I mean, with his power, how do you expect him to not be more of an anti-hero?
yeah, and it's interesting too when we jump into the mutants conversation because like yeah, I would say that they're all heroes. The X-Men, like they created like their own like bits to like
Yeah,
help the
their own
world, but
organization.
yeah, their own organization, and they ultimately need to seek approval for that, like by their own actions. Here we're in this world in My Hero where like it's everything's kind of fully established, but now it's been broken down, and that's exactly what Dobby. That's what like even like All for One wanted to do. They wanted to just kind of shake the foundation so they can just run in and throw in all the chaos possible, and it's actually happening now.
They wanted to be the asshole who takes your soda, shakes it, and waits for you to open it. Open it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Stop!
But man, that image of "I'm not here" is
It's
wow,
powerful.
really strong. So yeah, I guess to kind of like wrap up my thoughts, this chapter was a really good buildup of just the impact on everything now and what's to come to as far as rebuilding things.
It's such a tease.
It is really a tease because I'm trying to think like the way that this chapter is kind of setting it up is that everything's kind of declining as far as like the situation and like how peaceful things can be, to a point where I think the very bottom is literally Endeavor crying because he doesn't know what to do. So at this low point, I believe this is when we're going to start to see like a rise in like how things are going to be shifted to be a little bit more optimistic, how they're going to try to tackle this as best as possible. Obviously they're going to be downward spikes and
We get
whatnot.
new heroes out there.
New heroes out there. That'd be interesting. What like what if at this point, despite how like stoic and unwavering like the society of hero like this was like set
They'll
up,
have to make some exceptions.
they actually start accepting heroes like from the vigilante side of things because they
Like a
just
draft.
need them.
Kind of like a draft kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh shit, that sounds better too.
Because, like, you know, when you're short on soldiers, you draft.
Mm-hmm. And we might see, ooh, that might literally erase the whole academia portion of things now, because it's like at that point you're drafting, and you kind of already did, the students at this point. So it's literally boom boom, you're an Avenger now.
Welcome to the Avengers, kid.
What was the Avengers, kid?
I mean, like, I'm sure that because it's like Amajiki, Mirio, they're they're in their third year. They're about to graduate.
Oh yeah, I gotta say though, um, earlier this week, there was a trending like thing on Twitter. It was for Tamaki, and I didn't know how to respond to that. So on the Twitter post, I just kind of put a gif in Tamaki, expecting to see him. Turns out I didn't get to see him, but hoping for the best for him.
Absolutely.
But yeah, oh my god, I can't wait to see Miro again. I want to see like how he's gonna like look at all this, because he's kind of Mr. Optimism right now when his quirk is like there with him, and even off. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how he kind of tackles things as the like the previously mentioned like number one, even within the pros.
Yeah, like he has the potential to be the next number one.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could probably take Endeavor's spot, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what if with this Endeavor's like rankings obviously would go down. Obviously, that's not the focus as far as the situation, but they could literally like overthrow Endeavor and like literally put someone else number one spot. Probably maybe not Hawks, unfortunately. Maybe Best Jeanist would be like, yeah, default Best Jeanist. There you go.
Well, he's already like he's like number 2, I think. Number 2 and number 3.
I think he's number 3. I think Hawks was like number 2. Or
Yeah,
shit,
Hawks is 2, Endeavor's 1, and Best Jeanist is number 3.
yeah. Shout out to Jeanist. Dropping in with those Jinko jeans.
Those Jinko jeans.
It's like, what the hell? Is that a parachute? No, those Jinko jeans right now.
Jinko jeans.
But then I honestly, it'd be kind of a shock, but I'd also wouldn't also be too surprised by it if Mirio suddenly just popped into the rankings like after things kind of settled down. If like he was already drafted to become a pro hero through the emergency of things.
I mean, like I'm looking right now at the status of Tamaki Amajiki, and nothing. There's like it says unknown status, currently unknown.
Is that like through the Wikia stuff? Because
yep, status currently unknown.
Because I think that's more like fan developed, right? Because obviously we don't personally know.
It follows the series as accurately as it can.
As accurately as it can. So unfortunately, only Horikoshi would be able to tell us like, is he okay or not? And he'd be like, oh yeah, he's a character, right? Let me just write something real quick.
Well, it says status unknown, so that just means like, you know, the last time we saw him, he and Fat Gum were fighting Gigantomachia.
Yeah,
so
they looked absolutely just like ugh.
It was intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fat Gum was going in like, bring it, bitch.
There's only so much I can absorb. That mountain, I can't absorb that. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I think I've shared my fair piece of things I wanted to expect, but also reflect on this chapter. Mark, was there anything else that you wanted to add before we go ahead and call it for the stream?
No, I think I got pretty much everything out.
Alrighty, I guess we'll go ahead and end here. So next time, it'll be actually just a week from now, Sunday. So we're gonna still continue doing our My Hero reads. It might just be myself and Mark going forward until further notice. In the meantime,
okay, Christoph, in here, don't you worry about it. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So thank you guys so much for watching this this stream for My Hero Academia reads and discussion. We'll be back next week for episode 301. Oh yeah, it was 300. Nothing too crazy happened, understandably due to the circumstances of the chapter, but would have been cool to see something like a little tiny little bit of celebration for 300. But yeah, I guess that's all we have. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next stream. #bye everyone.
Bye guys.